Alright, so here we go with part two. I don't even remember what I titled the video. I'll have to check it with something about repeat cycles and releasing something. It's just all about the biggest part is about opening up and being vulnerable, which like I'm so great at opening up and being vulnerable in my day-to-day life. It's just like one on one or in a group, a small group of people. Um, yeah, with people I trust, or whenever spirit says, "Hey, this is a story you need to tell," because I'm a storyteller and I'm a healer. Um, but continuing with the story of my sprained ankle and the things that I'm learning from that. So, it was almost like it was inevitable. Not inevitable, but like I had a feeling something was going to happen. But I was hoping against it. It happened anyway. Um, I had a good experience at the hospital. I only had to spend 3 hours there, from like 12 to what 3:13 is when I got out, and and stuff. But and then like I'm not trying to stand on my foot and cook or nothing like that. So I live on the third floor of my house. So like I'm just now starting to feel the cool breeze. So I'm not trying to be up and down them stairs too much either. And so I stopped by the taco place. I don't know if I should like shout out to everybody who just either way, if you are in Salem, Massachusetts and you want some dank tacos, some dank like street kind of, it's not really street because you go in there and you order, but like it's that kind of style. They've got a few different tacos. They got nachos, and then they got quesadillas, and they've got vegan options. It's Spitfire Taco. So I've been kind of living off of them because it's like I can get a vegan quesadilla with some pico and some guacamole for $8, $10 with a tip because I like to tip. Um, oh, I love my work family. I prayed for a really good work family. I haven't had one since my Buka family in Augusta, Georgia, and even my Buka family in Macon. Um, after we after Planet Hollywood closed us down, fuck them. Um, uh, with oh yeah, yeah, I was gonna say with a prickly cactus. I do not like working for corporate entities anymore after that. And so, like, when I do have a job, like a regular job that I go to and I work for an hourly wage or whatever, I don't, if I'm not out farming the marijuana farms in California or even locally around here, which I've not done it here. My body's just like, no, ma'am, we're not doing that anymore. And I miss it. I miss working with the plants. My body's like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. We have destiny. We have a date with destiny, and it's time you start working with your gifts. So anyway, so I got my quesadillas, and and I got like two different meals this time, and then I stopped at the gas station, got me some Speedway, and like I guess it's 7-Eleven. They own each other or whatever. They've got these new cold pressed juices out, and so it's like they come in glass bottles. They're really good. It's like, so I've been juicing a lot lately, but I haven't went to the grocery store. I've just been paying for it. So anyway, yeah. So I got my stuff together. I'm all set for being here for the next couple of days. Um, But it's just like, I understand that with all the auspiciousness, I think that's the right word, with the astrologicals and stuff, this is an important time as a healer, as a storyteller, as a psychic, as a medium, as a wide open, clear, everything child of the universe. It was very important for me to stay home and rest during this time instead of be exerting my energy and everything elsewhere. Like, I literally, when I came home, I caught up with my friends downstairs a little bit and finished up my aloe juice and ate some ice cream, some like vegan ice cream. Like, Oatly is good. If you miss the cream and the ice cream and you're vegan or eating plant-based, do the Oatly. OAT-LY. Oatly ice cream. It's not even cream. You're not supposed to call it cream, but like, what the... It's creamier. It's creamier than most of your other non-dairy things. Coconut is going to be your next, like, thickest, but it's not the same kind of cream. It's a different cream texture. But if you want a cream texture like ice cream texture and you're missing that, do the Oatly. And you don't taste the oats in it. You don't taste the oat milk in it. Like, I've had oat milk otherwise before, but no. So that's another, this is a lifestyle thing. I'm just being open, being vulnerable, like talking like I would talk to somebody. I'm just sitting here talking with somebody, and it's like possibly millions of people. Who knows? So little tips and tidbits that I toss in there. I hope they help. Anyway, so, I know this is, even though I'm disappointed, even though I was looking forward to making money this weekend because I've been investing quite a bit of money. Like, I say investing because there's a return on most everything that I do, whether it's eating. I invest in good food for myself, for my body, so it's vegan, organic as much as possible. Yeah, because my body got pissed because I was going vegetarian and pescatarian and just eating trashy vegan and processed vegan, and my body was like, this is not what we said. We're not running on this. It's like you putting low grade in when we need high grade to run on. I was like, okay, back to the basics. So here we are. And so yeah, and I kind of am, I'm super disappointed because I had some investments that I wanted to make into my diet and nutrition because I've been investing into my education and book reading and stuff like that here lately. Expanding my library. Books are very important to me. And so anyway, I like having access to whatever references I need. So I've got books on Reiki, books on psychic mediumship, past lives. I got lots of stuff. I even, do my spiritual stuff with, my studies there with Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And I study a lot about that. But there's also, I study a lot of different other, what they call deities as well. Just because it's good to know. It's good to know. Not be so narrow-minded. Like, okay, yeah, I've it's one thing if you say, I've read a whole panacea of things. I've educated myself in these things. If I wanted to know something, I found out. And this is my observation. This is my opinion. This is my thoughts on the matter. This is what I believe. Instead of saying, oh, there's only one source. One true source. One authorized blah, blah, blah. Authorized by a king that was trying to control everybody. Like, get the fuck out of here with that mess. Like, don't get me wrong. Oh, there went my little singing. I have been, I tried to write, I'll tell you this. I tried to wrap my head around that when I was, when I first got saved, as they call it. And I was dealing with a very religious spirit, my poor children. Did you see that pop on like that? What? Ding! Yeah, I was dealing with a religious spirit. Because they will certainly come in, especially when you first get saved. And Jesus is like, that ain't got shit to do with me. Like, be my disciple. You know? He's like, a good summation of my life is I left the church to be a disciple of Jesus. I don't deal with that organized religion bullshit anymore. Those were the people who told me that I wasn't good enough, that I had to pay a couple more thousands of dollars to go to their school, to do what I had already been doing on the streets with the Holy Spirit, learning from the Holy Spirit firsthand with my experience. And I was in there like losing my goddamn mind because they were doing everything fucked up from a church person's point of view and not from Jesus or the Holy Spirit's point of view. And I was just like, ugh. Yeah. The only thing that made that experience worth it was the people that I still am in contact with. The people that I met there in that discipleship school. And the mission trip to Nicaragua. Hands down. Because my whole life is a mission trip. My everyday life. And you know, that's what I've been missing. I've been working so much at working my job, working on trying to work on myself, work on my own businesses, at least get myself up out of imposter syndrome enough to start and get into and start getting paid for what I do. And it's been a seemingly slow process. Yeah, so knowing that this weekend is super auspicious has helped me to deal with the fact that I'm going to miss I'm only made like probably less than half of what I normally make in a week. And because I work all my hours on the weekend, from Friday to Sunday, that's my work week. And I just literally had my like 1 weekend a month off. Because I have to do that now to take care of myself, because I wasn't, and I was just like running myself in the ground. And so I'm learning the balance of work and life, like balancing the job and life, not working myself into the ground. And I've got the support of my co-workers, my work family. They're awesome. I've got great management. We are locally owned, which is amazing. Love my owners. If that's what you call them. I'll just call them boss. And yeah, it's uploaded to your videos. Oh, something has uploaded. So maybe this uploading. Okay, so maybe I'm anxious to see. I'm looking forward to seeing which one uploaded. The one that's been uploading for over 24 hours, or from my iPad, or the one that I recorded with YouTube. Because if it was recorded with YouTube, shoot, we're on that. We won't have to worry about doing it on the iPad no more. And then transfer and then uploading it. So anyway, so yeah, this has been extremely calming in a way. Like after I came home and chatted with friends and had my ice cream and stuff, and I came on upstairs. I knew, because I almost went to sleep at the hospital. I almost passed out, and it's because there's a lot of hospitals are really taxing on your energy. And so I was just like zapped. So I laid down, elevated my foot, and dreamed all sorts of dreams. But they were like the kind of dreams where I'm going through these cycles, different things. yeah, so like most of my dreams here lately have been repeat dreams and dreams about cycles. Some of it's just revisiting, and some of it's like, hey, you need to change some things in these other cycles. So I've been working on that, and like I want to sit back, but I don't want to hold the computer. And I can't move this chair. It's so big. It's like a small couch. I love it. So I got something to like. So I got something to cozy up on. Maybe I can move. Maybe I can move it over here. I don't want to move my things though. I got all my little things sitting here. I don't want to move them. So anyway, I don't have another table or shelf I can use. I guess I'll. Let's see. No, we're not going for that angle. This one's just fine. So anyway, yeah, so it's just like having to get over the disappointment of being injured, not being able to be a part of my team this weekend. And I know they got busy because the weather has been beautiful. We are a tourist town. And so, knowing that, and I was supposed to train somebody this weekend too, like, oh my God. So I'm just like, and I don't even feel that. Like, usually, normally when I feel that way about something, I feel it, but I don't even feel the from it, which is great. That means I feel like I'm growing. I'm like observing what's going on without being emotional about it and being attached to it, which is huge. It's like it's a fact. It is what it is, and I don't like what it is, but we're going to roll with it. And so this is, yeah, so I just literally, like, before I started this other video, I just literally woke up. It was like 8:40 something, I think, when I woke up. So it was like from 5 something to 8 something, I slept and I dreamed all these dreams, and it was wild, it was crazy. I could, if I don't record my dreams right when I wake up, like do an audio recording of them, I don't recollect them very well. But like the spirit work, oh my God, my earball's itching. But my spirit, it's like my spirit does the work. It's like the work's done. So it's like I know I'm doing work when I'm asleep. It's like I have to shut off my conscious awareness to do that, to do the work. And that's the way it does whenever I get Reiki treatments too. The last time I got a Reiki treatment, we were doing some, I think it was ancestral stuff. And like, I was plenty awake when we first started it, but like as soon as she called in the spirit guides and everything, it's like they knocked me out. They're like, we're gonna have to put this girl under so her mind will shut up and shut off. That voice, that incessant chatter, that voice that's always going, the one that helps helps one to self-sabotage themselves. Yeah, that one. That's what that book, The Untethered Soul, that's exactly what that's talking about. I'm like, oh wow. So everything's like right on time. I'm like busting out this healing and stuff, working on it, man. This is not, it's one thing to read the book and say, yeah, I understand and I know. It's a whole nother ball game to do the work. It's like AA. It only works if you work it. That principle goes across everything. It's not just for AA, people in AA. It only works if you work it, take what you need and leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate with you, hey, don't worry about it. You don't have to say anything. You don't. It's okay. If it's don't chime with your spirit, don't worry about it. Not everything will. Not everything is for everybody. I know people that they came here from the source of the, that they came here from source in one way, source will get you another way. in a way that you're open to understanding. Some people choose, some people, and it depends on your past lives too and what you've experienced here before and kind of carried with you. Definitely, because like myself, I'm definitely connected with Jesus. I'm definitely connected with Eastern medicines and Eastern naturopathy. I guess you say it. Holistic healing. I'm definitely connected with African shamanic stuff. I'm definitely connected with Egyptian things, with the Celtic things. My last name's actually Welsh, so like I'm definitely, the Druidic, the Celtic, that stuff is like what I hear. That's what resounds with me because that's who I am in this lifetime. It's part of who I've been in other lifetimes, but it's also a part of my genetic makeup as well. Some of it's spiritual, some of it's genetic, like physical genetic. Some of it's spiritual genetic. So, yeah, but just allowing myself to not let this voice overwhelm me with disappointment and, oh, what are they going to do without you, and oh, what are no, it's like I know and I understand and I realize that we have got some major moves to make in the spirit realm with my growth this weekend under this auspicious time. Like for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been studying with my apprenticeship class, or like part of my apprenticeship class. It's like a mastermind group, and so I've been studying with that. But I've also been like sleeping a lot. Week before last, I slept in there all week. I could not get up out of the bed, and it wasn't depression. I mean, I've had that before. Depression has damn near killed me. I've had severe scoliosis due to depression that went untreated. Like, there was no amount of weed I could smoke. There was no amount of alcohol I could add to it. There was no amount of sex that I could add to it. Nothing. And, it's like, there's been times when I'm like, maybe I should go see a doctor or a counselor about it. And then, like, the times that I usually have a panic attack and walk out. But yeah, I mean, I understand that there's chemical imbalance, and it's like, well, when there's chemical imbalance in your brain, it's like, as a man thinketh, so is he. So it's like, the thoughts that we think create neural pathways in our brain. Well, if you want to change the neural pathways in your brain and how your body chemicals work, the first thing you got to do is change your thoughts and start a new pattern, start a new chemical reaction in your brain by, choosing joy, choosing gratitude. Sometimes joy is not that accessible, and the only thing you can do is have gratitude. Like, in this moment, I'm definitely I feel like I should be feeling more upset than I am, but it's like I understand also that there's not a damn thing I can do about this situation. It is out of my hands, out of my control. Yes, I could go in and pop some ibuprofen and hurt myself worse. But this time, I'm going to break that cycle and I'm going to take care of myself so that next weekend I'll be on my top game. I'll be strong and I'll be wearing some ankle braces, bet. For sure. And, yeah, so, like, so it's not, so I'm not upset with it. It's just, I'm accepting of the situation and I'm making the best of it. I'm looking for the things, okay, what positive things can I come from this thing that seems like a negative situation? What optimism is there in this situation? What can I be positive about? What can I be forward moving with? Well, okay, here's time to rest, renew, allow spirit to work with me on the dreams that, going to sleep, going under and and working things out in the spirit realm during my dream time, during my sleep time. Because, like, I don't feel refreshed or anything. I just feel better. Like, okay, we got the work done. Now it's time to be awake for a little while. We'll add some more information. Maybe read some books. Watch certain things on Netflix that Spirit points out, And, like, sometimes it'd be like, Spirit's like, girl, put Medea on. You need to watch Medea. Watch Medea's Homecoming. Man, I laughed my ass off. I needed that laugh. I needed that joy. I needed to laugh. Laughter is good medicine. And not only was that, I love Tyler Perry. He just brings some really great lessons to the forefront. Made me feel a whole lot less guilty towards myself about being in love with or having relationships with people who are with guys who are with men who are 12 years younger than me. It kind of cuts it close when they're getting close to your children's age. It's kind of weird. So, it's not like I go out cradle robbing or anything. It's just like I meet people, and then, like, after we've known each other and got to know each other, it's like, oh, how old are you? Like, oh, shit. Like, oh. So now it's one of the first questions I ask. I used to card people. It's like, you had to be 21 or older to really hang out with me for legal reasons. Like, you don't want to be contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And for other reasons. And now, like, my firstborn's going to be 21 this year. So, you gotta kind of up that age level a little bit. As I get older. And I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, there's a lot of old souls coming back, and they're in young bodies. So it's like, once you're like 25, 30, I think you're mature enough to make not everybody. If you've dealt with your issues, your daddy issues, your mama issues, your family growing up issues, if you've dealt with your family traumas and stuff, then I think it's okay to, if you come into a relationship with somebody who has equally done the work, and you're both mature people, and you're both, well in age. I don't see an issue with that. Whether it's the guy is older, the girl is older, don't matter. Because I see a lot of couples nowadays that they do have an age difference, but they're right for each other. So, it's to each their own. Everybody's path is different, and I'm not sitting here, judging anybody. But now, let me tell you, when it comes down to, like, the way the way I was raised, and the sickness with that it's okay for a 22-year-old to scope out a 16-year-old or younger, because he did. I wasn't the youngest one. And to have him scope out and groom, no, that's sick. That's fucking sick. It's fucking illegal, and it's fucking sick. And that's what you learn when you get out of small towns. Small, backwards towns. Yeah, you get out here in the rest of the world, and they're like, oh, that child is 18, you don't touch that child. That's street rules. We don't care. Don't care. Don't you dare go after that child. It's a child. 18 and under is a child. It needs to be at least 19 or older. And a lot of these kids out here are mature these days. There's a lot of kids that were my kids' age that I got to be like a mom to. Like, where they needed that maternal and nurturing, like the boys that came off the farms on Murder Mountain, like, if, that had seen stuff that the boys coming back from war experience. PTSD is real in the hills of Humboldt. And everywhere else too. Like, Jesus. Like, I've not been anywhere where there hasn't been, like, shootings, killings, murders, whatever. And that shit's traumatic. I know people, even growing up, we had kids that, and, people I grew up with were witnesses to murders and stuff, and it fucking traumatized them. And nobody really, like, it was stigmatized, there was a stigmata, there was around getting help and stuff back then. It's just like, anyway. So this is a time for me to be purging these things out and to be talking about, just to get them out and to address them and heal, reveal, heal, and move past. Observe it, accept it is what it is, and do whatever work I need to do to move myself along and to grow and to learn from these experiences and to, like, mostly my life has been about, I'm a storyteller and I got a lot of my own stories to tell, but I share other people's stories. Like, I've never, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever had a miscarriage, but I know people who have, and I know how they got through it, and I was there with them, through some things, and I talked to them about it. Even if I wasn't there with them, I asked them, how did you get through that? How did you get to a peace of mind? And those are stories that I can pass along to people that I meet along my path that that have had miscarriages or whatever. I talk to people who have had abortions, and for different reasons too. Different things, anything in life. And so I'm a story collector because it's medicine. Jesus was a storyteller. I'm a storyteller. Jesus is. Yeah. So, and I hope people don't get scared or freaked out or mad because I talk about Jesus. Like, get the fuck over it. It's just a name. It's just a very important name. It's a very powerful name. But, yeah, that's part of my journey. Don't get mad because it's part of my journey. I'm not getting mad because Buddha's a part of yours. Like, check it out. Read Like Buddha, Like Christ. If you want to know the parallels, if you want to know the similarities in what they taught and how much of it was similar and the same. A lot of these, there's more than one path. There's more than one path to unconditional love. It is the path of unconditional love. But there's more than one human path, one man-made. There's more than one man-made path to unconditional love. And I think the church has fucked that up for a lot of people. When I say the church, I'm talking about any religious institution, whether it's Eastern, Western, Catholic, Protestant, whatever if it's an institution of man, you need to kind of get away from that. It's my opinion. Because that's not where you find it. I find what I believe in my own experiences. The beginning of my journey, the real fun part was when I said, okay, I know I've felt you all my life. I know I came from you. I know I'll return to you when I leave this earthen vessel. And I know you've never left me. I've always felt you there. You're always that voice of wisdom in my head. And I know that you love me. Whatever you are, I'm going to toss out everything that I've ever been taught about who everybody else says you are. Because that's all religion is man trying to explain what God is. So, and I was like, I'm tossing it all out. I want to know who you are. I want to know who you say you are. And I want you to show that to me in my everyday life. I want to experience you, because can't nobody take my fucking experiences away from me. You can read a book all you want to about something or someone, and you will never fucking know them. You will know somebody else's encounters with them. You will know somebody else's stories, somebody else's research, whatever. But until you have your own experiences with the source of unconditional love, don't even go by what I say. Don't even go by my experiences. Go discover that for yourself. Ask for those experiences, and you shall receive them in full. Because once you bring yourself into harmony with the frequency, the source of unconditional love, it changes everything. And whether you call it Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, Kuan Yin, Kali, it don't matter what you call it. Yahweh, Yeshua, Mot, Osiris, Isis, Zeus, Athena. It doesn't matter what you call it. And to me, those are all aspects of God. They're all aspects of the same energy. And I'm kind of exploring that right now. I'm exploring everything with that right now. So that's just like, that's kind of forming, 2 weeks from now, I may have a totally different belief and opinion about it because of what I've studied and what spirits showed me. So it's like, none of it's set in stone. None of it's set in stone. It's fluid. Flow with it. Surrender and flow. And be vulnerable. That's been the biggest message the past couple weeks for me. Yeah, so I'm just taking advantage of this time to start doing these videos and work on me, and take this time to work through the things that I need to work through in order to be ready for the next step, because I'm getting ready to step up into something big, taking that leap of faith, having courage and a commitment to myself and to what I know I'm here supposed to be doing. So yeah, I will be working with a lot and talking a lot about grief. Grief has been I've been for the past like 5 years now, probably John's been gone 2 years, so probably about 7 years now. I've been going through a season of grief. I have something else is uploaded, and yeah, in the past 7 years, my mother has passed, my dad has passed, my little brother was murdered, when my mom passed, I knew I wasn't going to be able to take care of my kids. I was a single mother, and I knew it was going to hit me so hard that I wouldn't be able to care for myself, much less my children, the way they deserve to be taken care of. And so I let them go to their dad and his family. And, it gave them a scope, because me and their dad had raised them homesteading, homeschooling. And then when I left, they went to, kind of a lot bigger town than what we grew up in, but like a smaller public school. So they kind of got integrated into public school. And then we moved to Georgia, where I put them, my mother helped me put them into one of the best schools in the best counties, like where Lady Annabelle went to school. That's where my kids went to school. And in a wealthy neighborhood. It was great. I was part of the PTA, did projects, went on school trips. It was fun. You know, the school was in my backyard. My kids always had a playground right there. So, you know, it was, we didn't have to really go any, you know, we didn't have to go anywhere when I didn't have gas money. All we had to do was just walk over to the playground and play. Um, and, uh, and then my two younger ones, I let my oldest one go back up to stay with my parents until Mama had that stroke, and then he went on out to his dad's family's house. But I kept the younger two with me, and they got to experience what it's also like to be the minority, to be in an inner city school, which it didn't feel like inner city because it wasn't like skyscrapers and all that shit. It was just like, I mean, we lived across the lake, a small lake, from the projects, and my kids went to a lower income school. And there were like 2 of the 5 white kids on the bus. And then whenever my son was getting ready to be in middle school and getting ready, I was like, I was nervous about that. And so that was like literally when Mom passed, and I was like, you know what, it's going to be best for him. They'd always wanted to try and see, their family had always told them how much better everything is where we grew up, which it fucking ain't. That's a joke. That's a sick fucking joke. There's nothing good about that place. Maybe like 2% of the people are actually really true, genuine, real, good-hearted people. And why they stay there is beyond me. Place has killed my whole family. I'm not about to fucking be excited or say anything nice about it. And these are just my observations. Yeah, they come together. Yeah, it's a community. Yeah, when people need help, everybody pitches in and helps each other. On the surface. Like on the surface. But on the spiritual level, on the low key, it's so fucking evil. So anyway, I let my kids go back up there to experience what it was like growing up in small town where their parents grew up, go to school where their parents went to school with the kids, you know, that are kids of the people that we went to school with, and experience that. And so they've been there ever since. And so they've had a good, you know, I did have an opportunity when I had my IRA to bring them out to California and live with me and go to the Montessori school. I actually had their applications filled out. I may still actually have those. I don't. I just went through all my paperwork and got rid of a bunch of stuff, so I may have actually finally tossed them out. I don't know, but that was the one thing that they hadn't done. You know, they did homeschool, public school, wealthy public school, poor inner city school, poor country school. And then Montessori was like the only thing they hadn't really done yet, because like with COVID they got to do the units, they got to do their classes at home on the computer and stuff, so they experienced that too. So, you know, Montessori was the only thing that they hadn't experienced yet. So, and I wanted to give them that opportunity as well, but they chose, I let them have their own choices because, you know, I understand their individuality, and it's like, hey, I've got this opportunity for you. Do you want to take it? Do you want to come live with me? Do you want to go to Montessori school while I go to discipleship school? What do you want to do? And they chose to stay with their dad's family. So, you know, free choice. Like, I do believe in, you know, letting, you know, I there were times in my childhood I did not have free choice. So when I got old enough to exert my free choice, then I remember what it's like not to have a choice. And so I wanted to be able to give my children choices. And each one's different. You know, if one had chose to come stay with me and the other one hadn't, cool. You know, that's your path. We're all individuals, and we all, like, yes, I have dreams and goals and aspirations for my children, but I'm not going to hold them to living out my dreams and aspirations for them when they know who they are more than I do at this point. You know, like, I'm learning myself right now, and I hope that they're able to do the same. I hope that, if nothing else, that I'm leading by example, regardless of, that's a whole nother video on vulnerability. But, yeah. So I'm okay with letting my kids be who they want to be. And, whatever that means. And sometimes that's not fun. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like, can I come pull your head out your ass and wipe the shit from your eyes so that you can see the light of who you really are? And stop fucking around with this. But I also understand that there's things that, like, just the same as my childhood was not all love and light at all. So my children's has not been all love and light at all. And that's just being real. And yes, I want better for them. So what do? I do better for myself. Take care of me. I heal me. I do everything I can for me, in order that I'll be ready when the time comes and they say, Mom, I'm ready to come live with you. Mom, I want to get to know who you are. I want to know you again. Because right now my children do not talk to me. And if they do, they have very abusive language built upon very malicious untruths and lies about me that they've been told. Why they believe it when they've lived with me and they know, and I've always been open and honest with them, I don't know. I don't. But you know, it's part of a generational thing. Because I see how that happened in my family and what my mother went through. And it's not fun. So hopefully this will get corrected and healed in our family before my children become parents and find out just how fucking horrible it is to have one parent talking shit about you all the time and talking down about you and whatever. And I'm not saying that their parent does, but their family definitely does, which is illegal as fuck. But like I said, that's another video. But like with my parents, my dad talked down about my mom all the time, and like we trusted our parents, you know, to be real with us. And then, you know, for him to say things like that about my mother and for us to believe them and to look at her and treat her the way my dad did, it's fucking disgusting. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. That is what it is. And you know, I cried once I got older and had my own kids and they were disrespecting me in the same way. I was like, Mama, I knew I was going to reap what I sowed, but I cry at night because of the way my children treat me, because of the way their dad and his family has treated me and shown my children how to treat me and made it forcibly onto them acceptable that this is how you should treat your mother. And so I catch myself thinking a lot about, my God, not only did Mama endure my dad's abuse, like physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, financially when he could. And then she like said, look, you're going to have your own account. I'm going to have ours so that I can make sure we have a roof over our head and food on the table for the children. And that's real. I mean, my dad was a Vietnam vet, but he was crazy as batshit. He was batshit crazy before that from his upbringing and things he hadn't healed. So here we are looking at the way everybody was unhealed and be like, let's get this shit healed so the grandkids and the great-grandkids and the generations to come don't have to fuck with this shit. But yeah, so like I called Mom up and I was like, I really don't, Mom dealt with that on top of having a tumor, having her pituitary gland taken out, driving herself to all those radiation treatments like 2.5 hours away, and still working her job to put food on the table. And all that. Jesus Christ, man, my mom's a fucking superstar. And we were taught to disrespect her the way we were taught to disrespect her. It still bothers me. I'm working on it, but it still bothers me. But you better believe I called her up and I said, Mama, I am so sorry. And it's been eating me up. I want you to know you are the most wonderful human being on the face of this planet. For the things that you've been through, the things that you've dealt with, And I can't imagine how she did everything for us the way I did everything for my kids. And still, she did so much more. She did so much more. And she's the one that, when I don't know what to do with myself or when I don't know how to handle situations, I remember back, how did Mom handle this? She didn't always make the right choices. But she did the best she could with what she had, with what she knew, and what she believed. And for that, I cannot fault that woman at all. And, yeah, so breaking these cycles. Because we've got lives to live, and, part of this journey that I'm on is, Jesus even says, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to tell the truth. And the truth is what sets people at odds, because you're going to have your people that don't want the truth, and you're going to have your people that want the truth. Because the truth will make you free. Truth is what sets you free. And there's so many layers to that too. I'm sure I'll get to it in a video sometime. But yeah, and it's, it'll cause households to become against one another, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, father and son against each other, that sort of thing. And I'm seeing it, and it's real. And it's like, damn it. Is it just because it seems to be inevitable, does that mean that it has to be that way? No, because guess what? We can allow the truth to change us and set us free and change these things. So there's that. There's me being vulnerable, very open, very vulnerable. But I hope that, like, me speaking up and being vulnerable about things that matter to me, things that affect me, things that I go through and think about, that was like one of the biggest steps in my life. And yes, there are days I regret it. And yes, there are days when I don't regret it. But I told God, I said, look, there's stuff that I told unconditional love, what I know is God. I said, if there are things that I need to experience and go through in order to be able to reach out to somebody, even if it's just one person, to bring them to a loving understanding of who you are, who they are in you, and who they are, to save them from a lifetime and an eternity of pain, then so be it. I'm willing to sacrifice myself like that. And it doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody I encounter. It affects my children. It affects the people I love the most. And so when I speak from a place of, I know what grief is. I know what grief is. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things is I'm not going to tell you. I may tell you other people's stories because they help me, but I know what it is to grieve, to get lost in it, to feel like I'm drowning in it and not be able to get up and get my breath. Just be willing to die in it. I know what that's like. I know the thoughts that pound in your head all the time. I know them all too well. What if I had done this? What can I do to do that? Yeah. And it's all I have found ways of making peace with those things and silencing those voices. Or at least when they bring stuff up, I'm like, no, it's okay. Because the physical death is not, it's not forever. Physical death is not forever. Spirit has shown me what I already knew when I was a child and growing up. Like, this is not my first rodeo here. This is not my first rodeo, and won't be my last, probably. I don't know. I wouldn't mind going on and ascending and not having to come back to Earth another time. But there's something in me that seems to be a little bit like the Kuan Yin, and she basically was right there at the door of her ascension and said, hang on a minute, I want to go back and help people. I want to help the hurting people to make it over here, to make it this far. And so she went back to help others. So I kind of feel like that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm learning a lot myself along the way. So I'm bringing as many people to peace and love as I can. You know, if it looks like your train, jump on board. If not, watch it pass by. It's okay. Ain't nobody gonna fault you for it. But yeah. My name's Mary Todd. I'm just here to help.